Nash Hutmacher, 2.5 tackles for
Buddha.
loss, led the team in tackles overall in an effort where Northern Illinois scored a garbage touchdown that didn't matter. So I don't tend to hold those against the defense because when it counted, when it was meaningful, when the game was on the line and still within reach, this defense shut it down to the tune of a pretty paltry 1.2 yards per carry. Now, sacks included in there, but still, they just couldn't run the ball. Their top rusher had 8 carries for 16 yards.
With rushing yards given up right now. That's pretty impressive. Trying to look at the stat here.
It was 137 total yards. Yeah, Nash Hutmacher had a game. He was in the first half like that. I felt like there was nowhere where he wasn't near the ball on the field. Him, Jamari Butler, we got some production out of the jack position. Omar Brown, Javen Wright, got a pick. Those are the guys that had spotlighted from this defense, but Nash Hutmacher was the big one. Just he was a force out there, and that was something to see. It's weird seeing number 0 come through the line, but that was a heck of a performance. And this defense is starting to prove that they're setting the tone because like Greg said, they're second in the country in rush yards per game. So I don't think it's any fluke, and this defense is going to be the reason that we win a lot of these games. We're not going to overpower a lot of them offensively, but it's very good to have a sound defense. And I think it's the harder side of the ball to build is a solid defense. So I feel really good about all of those guys. Our defensive backs are great. Tommy Hill's the only one that I'm a little bit hit or miss on. Each one of them are out there. They got the speed. They're keeping everything in front of them. And the biggest thing I noted from the defense is not only the physicality, but the amount of guys that just swarm to the football. When you stand up a guy, the old adage is everybody get to the ball. Stand him up and then gang tackle him. So that's what I'm seeing a lot from this defense, and I just see a lot of more intensity and like fire, and the way they're getting into the game. It's just everything's clicking on that side of the ball. So it's nice to have that confidence, at least, when you have some questions at the quarterback spot.
Well, the biggest storyline is, they played 36 different players on defense.
Yep.
So, you got guys in there, and I think 18 of them played more than 10 snaps. So you got tremendous depth all across the board on defense. And
staying fresh.
You don't lose anything. When you substitute, you aren't losing anything.
Mm-mm.
So, just the high caliber of play that Tony White has created on that defense is just amazing to see him playing like this. So,
and Rule very respectfully gave some credit to the former staff as well for having these guys ready in some of the ways that he needed them to be.
A lot of good football players out there.
Very much so, yeah.
But, a lot of them didn't get a chance to play much. So,
exactly.
Yeah, you see them all now coming to battle and being very capable and playing with a chip on their shoulder and, a lot of pride. And, like you say, it's funny to see Hutmacher wearing 0. You think he'd probably need about 3 numbers on that jersey.
Man.
And then Ty Robinson wearing number 9.
Yep.
Also kind of wild, but
yep.
Those guys are anchoring it, and then you got a bunch of young guys stepping up to the plate. You saw Riley Van Poppel in there making plays in the first half, and Cameron Linhart. And, thankfully he's okay. He got dinged up, but he should be good to go. And just everything's clicking on that defense. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny too that our old friend Josh Banderas that we've had on the show before. He was doing the Big Red Reaction radio show when I was on my way home from the game, and he was shocked. It was the first time that he'd seen backups in the game.
Oh my God!
Since before.
That's a good point.
There, it was pretty funny to hear him say that.
It's probably like that Northwestern game where we blew them out 2 years ago, the last time.
I am in the middle of posting a poll where I'm going to ask You viewers and fans out there, who should start at quarterback against Louisiana Tech? So jump on there and we
Who
will
should
see
or
what
will?
you have to say.
I think you said should.
Should? Okay.
Who should start a quarterback against Louisiana Tech? We'll see if because it just everybody's showing their opinions in the chat that I thought, okay, let's see how this one shakes out.
Yeah, I
check my spelling on
I'm
Heinrich
going to vote
Harburg.
for Jabba Purdy. Okay, that's my.
Put a other in there, just see what we get.
I'll put him on there too.
Throw Greg's name in there with his ankles.
Jabba.
That would so and two with that, like also one of the things that I can say I kind of fall into the trap of too is just the feel good story of Harburg, like you said, just being a Nebraska kid, the picture with him with Tom Osborne that was going around as a kid and all that stuff. It's hard not to root for the guy, but I'm trying to not let that blind me into, favoring one guy over the other just based on emotion. So
in one game.
Yeah, in one game too. Yeah. It was one game we needed very badly. I think that's the other issue we run into.
Folks, we appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. If you've got a brand, whether that's personal brand or a company that you would like to see reach different audiences, new audiences, certainly let us know and we can partner with you here at the Voice of College Football. So hit me up at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Any other players that stood out? You named quite a few on defense, and the stats are the most obvious in terms of on the offensive side of the ball. Offensive line perform fairly well up to standard?
I think so. And
yeah.
I mean, if you didn't see it this morning on Get Up on ESPN, Jeff Saturday had Ethan Piper's block as his number one block.
Oh, nice.
Pancakes block. So he got 3 pancakes out of that from Jeff Saturday, who rejoined First Take this morning. So, yeah, he buried a guy downfield. It was pretty funny. So, but no, I think they played well, the offensive line. There wasn't a lot of mistakes. I know there was a couple of mistakes there, a couple of penalties there by Ben Scott that hurt a little bit, but in the long run, it didn't cost him anything. But yeah, I think it was a pretty clean game, and they ran the ball very well despite the injuries of the 2 backs. They still really controlled that line of scrimmage against a really talented defensive front that played really physical. So, Nebraska definitely won that side of the battle, the physical part of it. So I was impressed.
Yeah, the offensive line was impressive. I do think they played well in Harburg's hand. Harburg helped them out a lot by being quick, making decisions. But yeah, overall,
when you don't drop the ball on the ground all the time.
Yeah, very true, very true.